Booyah! Tippy tie, my damies. And welcome to episode, 14 of Reviewedly Interrupted with me, your host, Pootie Tang. Pootie Tang, Pootie Tang. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, episode 14. Another film that's you either love it or you hate it. Midsommar. Now, I can preamble was saying I really did dig the movie. I thought that visually it was just fucking great. And there was scenes like starting off with that scene, that opening scene like that was just whoa. And it's like this when it got brutal, it got brutal. And see, I got this Blu-ray, and it's actually like I posted the link to Amazon. You can get like just this Blu-ray, this like the same one or whatever, for like fucking $5. It's crazy how cheap it is. So it's like, you know, if you want a cheap copy of it, if you dig it, like there's the link for that. But I, down the road, I'm going to get the director's cut because, you know, I have to see it. You know, I've seen this one. I dug it. I want to see you. It's like 20 more minutes. I mean, this is like almost 2.5 hours long, just this cut. So 20 more minutes. It's like we're getting up into fucking Apocalypse Now Redux territory, you know? Or at least like the original one. I think Redux was even long. No, I can't remember. When I do that one, I'll find out. I'll remember. But I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I admit that the chick just being so dramatic, like the whole movie. I get she had some shit going on with her, but like her boyfriend was kind of being douchey, and maybe she shouldn't have went to Europe. But like, it did get a little old with the character constantly just. But I mean, it kind of just adds another element to the film. But I do admit that that's the one part that's kind of annoying after a while. But you know, I just kind of like, I'm like, okay, whatever. And I get into the story, you know, and just watch the build, which I think is pretty good. And just like I said, very visually, it's very weird and very off, you know, so much of it. It's like, what is it, Swedish version of fucking like People's Temple or something, you know, fucking some weird religious cult. But like, you know, if you're American, you used to seen, you know, about like the American kind of cults and stuff like that, the ones that, you know, are famous. So it's like, it's a more Americanized cult, you know, which is usually based around like, I guess you'd say like Koresh and then Jim Jones. It was based around the Christian religion. So it's like, well, this is like a very different, you know, Swedish fucking pagan religion cultish. So it's like, it's kind of cool in that way, you know, it's a little something different. Director of Hereditary. I started watching Hereditary a couple times and I never finished it. It was like usually when I was just tired as shit and I just crashed out, because it's another slow burn, and I just watched it at the wrong time where it was like I was already just beat to shit from work or whatever and getting ready to crash, and it's such a slow burn. It's not sucking me in immediately, you know. It's like it just lulled me to sleep. But I do plan on checking it out because I heard it's actually like pretty good. It gets pretty strange, and I'm all for that. But yeah, I've watched this movie a couple times, just a couple times, and you know, I'm actually pretty stoked to watch it again because, like I said, I really enjoyed it. You know, it's like I watch all kinds of shit. You even if you just flip through, like you don't, even if you're not gonna watch them or already did watch them, and like, yeah, it's cool. I don't need to watch them again. You know, if you just flip through and look at the titles of just different movies I've done, you know, it's like I like different styles, different paces, different vibes, all this kind of shit, you know, where, and I like to mix it up. I like a variety. And it's like with being entertained, there's so many ways to be entertained, like visually with movies and everything, especially if you're a horror fan, you know? So many genres, subgenres, different takes on the same kind of style and everything. So, you know, I like a good slow burn sometime. That's why like Session 9 is my number 2 favorite movie of all time, because it's just the way it builds, and then the ending is just like when you reach that cherry on top of an ending. It's just, I really dug it. And this one's like that. It's very visual, just like, I don't know. It's just, I'll talk more about it later. But, like I said, looking forward to watching it again. This is like the third or fourth time. I'm going to go spend a while watching Midsommar. And I'll come back and I'll yap about it a little more, like bits and pieces and stuff and things that have happened in the movie of Midsommar. All right, back in a bit. Call me down on the penny stack. Midsommar. Man, I really like this film. I really like this film. It's just like so fucking wild. Like it throws all kinds of shit in there, And it's like my girlfriend likes it too, and she even said like she has this perspective that I think is very cool, where it's like in its own right, Midsommar is like an art house hillbilly inbred cannibal film, which it is in a way, and it's like crazy, because you got this. It's like a mishmash of all this stuff thrown together, but it's like done in a way where it's like you can't totally put your finger on one thing. It's like it's not stuck in a box. Not stuck in a box at all. It's like, holy shit. It's like if The Sound of Music and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the People's Temple all fucked and had a baby, it would be Midsommar. I wouldn't say Swedish People altogether, just the weird ones in this film. So you're cool, Sweden. You have a lot of cool music that comes out of there. But I think you might be just a little strange. And what I think is great is this movie right here. When it came out and played in Sweden, Swedish audiences were cracking up. They thought it was a comedy. They were not taking it seriously at all, And I think that's so fucking great, And yeah, I just really dug it. It's like, okay, the movie starts, shit's going on. That scene at the beginning where it's just like the whole like murder suicide using the fucking hoses from the car exhausts and the houses and making the sleepy no awake no more. Like that shit was like pretty hardcore, especially how she had it fucking duct taped to her fucking face. It's just like, wow, that's pretty brutal, And then all of a sudden they're going like, okay, we're fucking going to Sweden to check this shit out, right? Well, that car's driving down the road and it does that fucking Kubrick fucking camera work. There's a lot of good Kubrickian camera work. Is that the word? I don't know. Like film scholars, scholar me with knowledge about that. I'm gonna say Kubrickian because it sounds right to me, and I'm pretty sure somebody else said that shit too. But like, the car's driving down the road, and when that camera fucking tilts and flips over, and it's just like all of a sudden everything's starts going off. That's when shit's going sideways. Reality as you know it is gone for these motherfuckers, right? And especially when they start walking in there and you're seeing all this shit and it's like, okay, what's going on here? This is like some strange fucking Swedish hippie commune bullshit going on, like so very Jim Jones cultish. And I love the scene, like, like, oh, we reached 72, that's it. And the fucking suicide fucking thing is just like so great, because it's actually like, it goes by fairly quick. It seems like it goes on for a long time, but the brutal aspects of that shit go by so fucking quick, And it's just like the hammer smashed face. Oh, it was just like, fuck yeah, dude. And yeah, just like the imagery is just so fucking great. And I mean, there's something oddly beautiful in the undercurrent of their whole little society bullshit where it's like it's all about nature and communing and life being a circle and all this like stuff, but it's like, yeah, we need like new blood, so we're just gonna like bring people in and like fucking murder these motherfuckers for our little ritual, and we need a new baby maker to keep fresh blood going. And the little like elephant man retarded guy, painting pictures with my fingers, and that's what we do now. Like that shit is just so whack, dude. And it's like now that I am in a committed relationship now, I have to take having someone's grandma push on my buttocks as I'm thrusting inside of them off my bucket list, because I was just like, man, someday I just got to be like banging abroad, and just her old Grammy just like, do it, buddy, really give it to her, pal. Maybe a little smack on one of my cheeks, but it's out the window now. I'm okay with that. And like, I don't know, I love the ending too, and just like how they made little scarecrows or whatever out of the motherfuckers, and just like put him in the fucking bears, all the symbolism. It's like there's so much symbolism, but it's almost like there needs to be a companion book to like, what does half of this shit fucking mean? I don't know if you got to know like Swedish shit to know this shit, or if it's just like all mostly made up. But it's like, this is a twisted fucking fairy tale too. It's also a fairy tale. It's like what you would expect a German fairy tale to be like. I don't know, maybe just European fairy tales are just all just like, yeah, I mean, I guess there's like a happy ending maybe, but it's like, shit just really sucks a lot too, but like very twisted. What if every word we had was just one word? That would be Marklar. That'd be like Marklar from South Park, right? But yeah, a twisted fairy tale in a way. And one thing I like, I don't know, I might be reaching a little bit, but it also seemed like, okay, chick, her boyfriend, dingleberry friend, other friend that's like, like already planning on doing his thesis and already had a good idea of probably what the fuck was going on, and the guy that brings him there. I can't remember all their names right now. Excuse me, I have a tummy thing going on. It's a lot of gases out of me from the face. You can't smell it, but once we get smell-o-vision, I'll make sure to re-upload this video in smell-o-vision so you can smell what I had for dinner. But it's almost because basically at the core of this, it's so much about grief and getting over grief. Because, I mean, this bitch had, like, her family just decimated. Her close family, gone. They're fucking gone. The next closest person to her is, like, her boyfriend, who just doesn't give a shit. He's all about himself. I mean, he lies to her by keeping the relationship going. But then he's also lying to his friends, like, at that one point where it's like, I invited her, and she said she wants to come, but she's not going to come. It's like, what are you saying, dude? You just said that she's like, yeah, I'm down. And then you're like, but nah. You even lie to your friends. He's just a total fucking shady piece of shit, right? And it's just like, her final stage of grief is getting rid of, the people she loved are gone. The one person that she was holding on to, she just realizes is just a lost cause finally, and she's set free. So it's like grief. It's like just total grief for her, and then getting over it and letting go. And I almost feel like those main characters there, are like the 5 stages of grief, where it's just like, she's like depression, the fucking one friend who's just like just a total, like he is one of like what people would call toxic masculinity, because he's chauvinistic and just a dingleberry and shit. He'd be like anger, and then like the black friend, he'd be like bargaining because he knows that shit is fucked up, but he's like doing the bargaining thing where it's like, hey, I'm willing to just put up with this shit and go along with it to get what I want out of it. So he's like definitely bargaining. And then what was the other one? There's there was acceptance, but there's one more, and that's like the denial. Thank you, denial. That was my stage manager, like getting me there. She's got the Googles on her phone. She's like, "What the fuck is it?" No, I'm just joking. But yeah, denial. You know, where it's just like, was that what I was saying? Denial. Yeah, and that's like the boyfriend who's just like, he's just in complete denial. Everything that's thrown in his face, it's like, dude, this is weird. This is wrong. Like when the boyfriend of the British chick, or the husband of the British chick, just kind of takes off and leaves his wife, and then she's got to go after him and everything. And, you know, and he's just like, oh, yeah, it's weird, but what do you do? You know, it's just like totally denying everything that's going on around him and keeping his blinders on just because he doesn't want to deal with the shit, you know? And acceptance, the guy who brought them there because he is living the lifestyle and acceptance of it. So I feel like grief is so ingrained in this thing that even like the main characters play out the 5 stages of grief. Now, I might be reaching with this. It's like, I'll tweet it, Ari Aster, and I'll be like, hey, man, is that a part of the things and stuff? And if he's like, no, you're stupid, I'll be like, all right. All right. Before I wrap it up here, I'm going to, of course, give you a little sneaky peeky, not a stinky pinky, but a sneaky peeky at what I'm going to be doing next week on episode 15. Finally going to throw in a movie from my absolute number one favorite director of all time, Takashi Miike. Audition. This movie is one of his classics. I mean, I have like a little over 50 of his movies because I fucking love his shit. And there's like a couple more I think that are out there right now that I actually need to like search for a little bit better and snag up and to add to the shit. I'm gonna start with Audition because it is one of his classic ones. You know, this is just the 2-disc edition one. Arrow came out with a Blu-ray. Yeah, I want to get this on Blu-ray, you know, but that's going to be next week. Takashi Miike's Audition, one of his classics. Now, to wrap up Midsommar. What more can I say about it? This is really, really good. I know it's divisive. People were like, it's slow, it's boring, it doesn't make any sense. But it's like, I don't know, if you kind of like just dig into it a little bit, just like it's like letting go too, just watching what's playing out, because like I said, what I saw is when that camera flips, the whole world for those people is upside down now. It's upside down. It's not going to be the same. It is whatever they thought. It's fucking done, you know. And I really love the imagery and the visuals and everything, you know. And I thought it was really fucking solid, and I think this is a movie that's gonna stay divisive because I know some people fucking think it's stupid as shit and not good at all, and then there's other people like me that think it's like actually really good. That like kind of see into it more, maybe, I don't know, but it's gonna be one of those ones that's gonna be talked about for a long time. That's gonna keep popping up. I've noticed that when it first came out, there was a lot more talk about it. It's kind of died down. It's cool. But like, I feel like down the road, it's going to be one of those ones that people are going to be like, do you remember that fucking movie? Oh my God, dude, it was so crazy. It was so wild. But I mean, it's artsy, and it's not going to play the same as something straightforward. And I know that they could have cut out like a big chunks of this movie and had it play along, took an hour off of it, and people probably would have loved it because it would have been at a faster pace. It wouldn't have built. There was a lot of little fluff, little stuff in there. Like little things that like, even when they're talking, there's like shit going on in the background that's a little kind of weird, you know, or something, you know. It's like there's a lot going on in it, but it seems like there's a lot of stuff going on. Nah. But yeah, I don't know. I dug it, man. You know, and it'll definitely be one that I watch more and more over the years. But yeah, Midsommar. From Ari Aster. I still got to watch his Hereditary. That will be a thing. But that's all for now. I think I yapped about this enough. I think I made some points. I don't know. My mom said she likes my videos, though. And that means a lot to me. Because she's been dead for 3 years. Someone has made an account of my mother and they are following. Of course, I was playing with the Ouija board. It might just be my mom because I had a Ouija board app at one point, and she might have just like her spirit came into my phone. That would explain the odd Google searches. Like I have never searched Summer's Eve, and yet there are so many out of the blue Google searches for Summer's Eve, and I wish my mom would stop haunting my phone. Mom, stop. Should I say goodbye? I'm moving the thing. Goodbye. Goodbye, mother. It's time. Pass on. Go into the light, Caroline. All right. Well, until next time, this has been episode 14, Midsommar, of Reviewedly Interrupted, with me, your host, Pootie Tang. Kappa Chow. Ayo.